This is the motherboard we'll be using today, and as you can see, this is where the CPU goes. These are the DIMM slots for the RAM. This is the PCI Express slot for the graphics card. This is where your BIOS battery is. These are your SATA ports in case you need to put a hard drive, conventional hard drive in. This is your M2. It has two M2 holders, which are for your Nuform M2 PCIe SSDs. So these are your SSDs that come in a few different form factors, usually in a 4 cm, 6 cm and 8 cm. Okay, so, and the motherboard will have a back plate, which is called an I/O plate, and that will look like this. The I/O shield is what goes on the back of the computer to cover the hole where you will be plugging in your things like network cables, video cables and USB cables. So what we do is build the computer first on the outside and make sure it works before we transfer it into a case. So the first thing we'll do is put in the CPU. So the CPU socket has a lever that you need to push down and pull out to the side. The lever comes up and then opens like so. Now this is the CPU. Now the CPU only goes one way in. It isn't square and will go all different ways. It only goes one way. You need to be very careful with a CPU to put it in the right way, and there's a few ways of telling what is the right way. The easiest way is to line up the grooves. So you have a groove here in this corner, you have a groove here in this corner. You'll see the same grooves on there and on there on the board. So the easiest way to do it is to line up those two grooves. Now these pins, the CPU pins that are on the motherboard, are very, very delicate. You cannot get any dust or dirt. If you do get any dust or dirt, just blow them out. Do not attempt to brush it out or touch it, because these will be very delicate, and once they bend, it's almost impossible to bend them back into place and the motherboard will not work. So again, we're lining up our CPU with the grooves. There is a arrow here that also lines up with the arrow on the motherboard. You can see the arrow on the motherboard, arrow on the CPU, and then the two grooves will tell us that the orientation for the CPU is this way. So we start with the groove end, placing that corner down, and once we have a firm connection, we then drop the other side down, or lower the other side down so it's in place. So there's the CPU in place. We then lower the CPU holder and lower the lever down, put it under and lock it in place.